The Phillies locked in a playoff spot, check. Won the NL East division, check. And now they have secured a bye for the first round, check. We're heading into the final series of the regular season. We're recapping the final homestand for the Phillies and their win over the Cubs. Much more as we take a look around the league and playoff picture here on PHLY Phillies podcast, coming soon. The first round bye is secured. The Phillies secured the bag, they secured the bye, and we welcome you into the PHLY Phillies show presented by Bet365. You can download the Bet365 app and use code PHLY365 when you sign up. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Last night, the Phillies took care of business, staying on business, as they say, locked in the win, won the series, and also won themselves a first round bye in the playoffs, so we don't have to see them until October 5th for the NLDS Game 1. Guys, we've got to recap all the excitement. We've got Tyler Zulli, Jamie Lynch, myself, Renee Washington, as we look back on the final home series of the regular season for the Phillies, a series that they took, their 16th series win of the season. And as we have a day off today, it gives us a chance to recap, refresh the playoff picture, the playoff updates, and then start to look around the horn at what's next for the Phillies? The Nationals on the horizon, as well as who they can potentially match up with. We've got some crazy, crazy dirt news that's going around and much more that's happening around the league, plus some wild games last night.
Yeah, not like gossip dirt, like actual literal dirt.
Literal dirt. It's being dirt.
Joe Dirte. Put an E on the end of it. Sounds pretty cool.
Things are getting a little bit dirt-y around
either of
here.
you two ever see Joe Dirt? You feel like not the Joe Dirt. I might have.
I have, but
you
have seen it?
Yeah, it was wild.
Yeah. You're not a Joe Dirt person.
No, I'm not a Joe Dirt person. I'll Google it.
It's a movie. It's a very dumb movie.
Oh, it's the movie, the Joe Dirt person's a character?
Yeah, David Spade plays Joe Dirt.
Oh, yeah, no.
It's very dumb, very stupid, but it does have some funny, occasional one-liners in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, happy Thursday, guys.
I would not recommend you go stress and go watch it immediately. It's not one of those.
All right, so I won't add it to my list. I won't put it higher than like my Fall into Love Hallmark movie marathon on.
Sure.
Okay. So happy Thursday on that note. Listen, guys, yesterday was an eventful day around the league. We've been able to keep an eye on the Phillies and all that they've been accomplishing, but also looking around the league. Starting with the Phillies, it was a solid day. First things first, many of y'all didn't even know the game had started early. And by many, I'll say there was one person that gets the updates on their calendar and gets the notifications. And to toot my own horn, I get those notifications because it was
we just finished dinner and I looked at the clock and I was like, oh, 6:15. Like, we got a little time to clean up and get the house in order before we sit down. Because, Skylar likes watching the first couple innings with us. And we try to wrap that up so they can lay in bed and watch the Phillies. And the 6:40, it's kind of perfect. So I was like, oh, cool. We got like 25 minutes. So I go about doing the dishes, cleaning up, putting all the art supplies away and all the toys. And then I see you text. What time was it? 6:25.
Tyler had picked up. I didn't realize you guys weren't watching because I'm obviously not in your house.
Yeah,
with you.
I missed
but
Trey's.
Fortunately, Tyler was like, "Wait a minute, the game started." I was like, "Yeah, guys, come go watch the game."
I think you texted something like, "Wow, I can't believe we're in the second inning already," or something.
Yeah, it was literally 3-0.
And Tyler was like, "Wait, what?" And I was like, "Huh? I thought it was 6:40 tonight. Why are we throwing a 6:05?"
So make sure you guys check these times because they're varied. We have 7:15, 7:10, 6:40, 6:05.
It's a lot of
change. It is weird though, actually. Because
I don't mind it because the earlier for me.
Yeah, but usually you have East Coast times are set, West Coast times are set.
6:40 is kind of perfect for me.
I don't love 6:40. It's like a weird time. Like, why not? Like, who came up with 6:40
versus
it used
to be 7:05 for all those years, and then you want to get kids in the stadium in the summer.
Yeah. And by 6:40, it really doesn't start till technically 6:45 when they get done the whole thing. So anyways, it was a 6:05 start yesterday. Caught some of you guys slipping, Tyler and Jamie. Yeah. But if you missed the start of the game, the Phillies came out again. Another game, they jumped out to an early lead, which we love to see. Trey Turner gets a home run on the day. That was the fourth time. It marked the fourth time in Trey's career that he's hit 20 home runs in a season, and his second as a Philly, twice in the, obviously, 2 seasons, 2 20-plus home run seasons. So excited for him. You guys missed it in the bottom of the first inning. Great home run for Trey. And another time where the Phillies jump out to an early lead. They're getting back to the principles that we have talked about, responding when they give up a run, jumping out to an early lead, having a full game that they're putting together without any major dips. There are hiccups, but there's no major moments where they're going hitless and offense goes to sleep. So yesterday was nice to see because we had Trey Turner, Nick Castellanos, and Cody Clemens all hit home runs. I always love when Cody does well because Roger chimes in, and that makes me excited to see. He does. By the way, if you actually look at Roger's recent tweets, he retweeted a tweet I'm involved in. So basically, Roger tweeted, and I are friends.
Well, Roger, I do not follow the Rocket. Would you like to come on the show, Roger? I'm sure he's a big fan. If you look at his recent retweets, the one is it's my tweet. Well, it's my tweet that somebody commented on that he retweeted the comment, but it says, I see it's me. My name is there. This is awesome. It's me and Roger, basically. We're BFFs. Yeah, you guys are best friends. That's what I got. I took a screenshot of it because Roger basically retweeted me. But yeah, it's Cody Clemens does rake, and Roger retweeted. Tyler, and I was like, yes, he does. Cy Young's, does he have 6, 5? 6 or 7? Come on, NRD. I thought you'd know that. I think it's 6. 6, at least. It's an insane amount. 7. It's 7. I told you. Wow. Your best friend, my best friend, Roger. 7-time Cy Young winner, Roger Clemens. No big deal. So that was awesome to see because also we had in that game yesterday, Nick Castellanos was a triple shy of a cycle, which for Nick Castellanos, let's not forget just how long ago it was, which is not that long ago. It feels like it was yesterday when people were hating on Nick Castellanos. And Nick Castellanos has had a fantastic stretch of the season, guys. Ever since May, he's been Mr. Consistent. That's what I'm calling him, not artsy or whatever they call him. I'm calling him Nick Consistent Castellanos because Nick now has on the season a 7.38 OPS, 86 RBIs, 23 home runs with a 253 average. And quite literally every month following the month of April, he's been very consistently hitting around 15 or more RBIs that he's been helping him score 4 or 5 home runs he's had. He's also been hovering around having that 270 average. His splits on average each month have definitely increased since April, where he had a 183, 241, 260 split with a 501 OPS in April. And since then, his average alone has been like 275 and higher, 3s in the for his OBP. Everything has drastically changed. And I feel like it was only fitting as we're like wrapping up the regular season that Mr. Consistency does his part and almost gets a cycle yesterday. Yeah. Rich talked about him in the morning newsletter. He said since May 6th, an OPS of 807. It's, Kruk was throwing flowers at him. I've seen him getting a lot of love on Twitter now. Yeah, Nick Castellanos, look, at the bad part of the season, he was like the constant. Mm-hmm. Really an amazing turnaround. Hopefully it continues into the playoffs. I know. Because if there is one guy that's prone to chasing the low and outside. Oh no. Well, it is him. So I just hope it doesn't rear its head back at the worst time again. But yeah. I'm trying to be I'm not going to worry about the negatives until they happen. That's kind of my mindset. That's kind of my mindset going into this. I like that. It's very possible that Nick starts chasing low and outside again, but I'm not going to think about it. I'm not going to worry about it. If it happens, I'll start to panic. But do you think it'd be the pressure of just it being like the postseason because he's been consistently? Yeah, I mean, I feel like that does change things for people. Well, pitching matchups versus hitters change in a series. Yeah. He's got to be disciplined. He can't chase. You got to wait for strikes, basically. You got to pounce on the strikes. You can't miss mistakes. You can't chase. You got to be disciplined. It's a different animal in the playoffs. So not going to think about that negative stuff until it actually happens. Hopefully it doesn't happen. Hopefully not. Last night, 3 for 4 on the night with his double, his single, his double, his home run. His OPS as of today is the highest it's actually been all season. So talk about trending in the right direction, as you mentioned with Rich's numbers for his OPS since May. I mean, everything's moving in the right direction for Nick, and he just continues to be consistent. And let's hope he does stay that way and it doesn't get in the playoffs and decide to switch up. Also, I want to just give some love to
we'll talk about Christopher. I want to talk about Christopher Sanchez, but before we even talk about him, I want to give some love to the bullpen because the bullpen's also been phenomenal. Love, love, love the fact that we now have, in a game like yesterday, Christopher Sanchez. It all started with the error by Bryson Stott and then kind of just went a little bit downhill from there for Sanchi. And for him to have a tough outing and have the bullpen back him up, like that's what you want your teammates to be able to do. And all the way through to Carlos Estevez, who I just love the excitement he brings when he closes out a game. Fantastic to see the bullpen just be lights out again. And this was a game that was very important to win. Obviously, we knew the importance of the first round bye, but also even bigger than that, as you have this moment. Think about all the things that from pregame with Brandon Marshall's, barking and speech and excitement, all the way through to being able to
really
watch.
Nervous.
I know. I think that's so funny. He didn't give off nervous vibes, as he was just like, let the dogs eat. All the way through the game to post game. And then Brandon Marsh again, as you're watching, knowing you've won. Now you watch on the screen and watch the Brewers lose to the Pirates. Like, this whole game was such a great way to finish out your home season of regular season games, that now your bullpen's able to come in, save the day, and the Phillies are able to finish 2024 with a 54-26 record across 80 games at Citizens Bank Park, which is a .675 win percentage. One of the London games, of course, does count as a home game, but it does tie the single season record for wins that was previously set in 2010. So making some home records as well, because that is the second highest by a Phillies team in their home ballpark since 1900, and it does also tie that record for single season record back in 2010. And for the Phillies, who have had such a phenomenal season to close out your 16 series win, get another series win at home, and give your fans a chance to remind them, hey, we're not done yet. This has been fun. We're not done. We've got one more series on the road down the street with the Nationals, and let's just like have an all around. It was just an all around good day.
Yeah, it was, and it was kind of theatrical the way it ended. Like the Phillies game ends, and the Pirates had one out in the ninth. So you're like, they're doing the interview after the game with Marsh, and they're right before the interview. They're like, well, we got one down, Brandon. We'll find out if you guys get a bye here any minute. And sure enough, they get the bye, and that's got to feel great because, they've accomplished their goals. They went out and did it, and they've kind of taken a step forward every year from the last wild card in to the top wild card, now to a division winner. Hopefully that means, they're putting a ring on it at the end and not just an NL champion ring. So great season overall to finish out on that note. And I'm at the point now where I don't really care about the 1 or 2 seed.
Yeah.
Because I don't really know if the Dodgers are going to get out of the NLDS. They're really beat up. Their pitching's really depleted. So if they end up losing in the NLDS, the 1 or 2 seed doesn't matter at all.
Right.
So at this point, you got the bye. That was all that really mattered. What happens in these next 3 games, I'm not too worried about at all. They got the bye, and that's great. And I hope I don't have to talk about 4 days off in the playoffs being a detriment to a team, because that has entered my head.
I know. So I do feel like it is, at this point, if you had to pick and choose between being the 1 seed or just locking in the first round bye, obviously the 1 seed gets you the bye, but that's just like icing on the cake. Just to be able to say you had the best record across the NL, just to say you're the number 1 seed. But 1 versus 2 doesn't matter because of the exact point you're making. The Dodgers, when's the last time they even got out of the NLDS?
They're beat up.
And on top of that, pitching. They are. They really are. I mean, they still have work to do, and we'll talk about the playoff specifics of them. Still need to lock in the NL West. The Padres and that series is tied up between Padres, Dodgers. They are very beat up. Their pitching has had so many massive injuries this season. So for the Phillies, it's now, okay, you took care of business. You got the most important things done. You have had a chance to close out, get that first round bye. Now you can start to plan ahead for that. And it allows you to go into this final series and be able to make, to tinker, essentially. It changes the series. I know looking ahead, we already have the pitching matchup for it, but you imagine, how much are we going to see guys maybe scaled back or the opposite?
Yeah, I would imagine Zach Wheeler is scaled back. Ranger, I don't really know what they want him to do. They think they've had this tweak with his legs and things are inching in the positive direction with him. Maybe they want him to go out and throw 90, 95 pitches and get used to whatever he's been working on. Maybe they get to 75 and they say, hey, we've seen enough. That was good. We like your velo. We like your form. So let's shut that down. I would imagine Wheeler's not going past 80, 85 pitches, most likely, because you do have, Tuesday through Saturday off, no matter what. So you want Wheeler to get as close to his regular rest, but the real luxury of being off is being able to stack your rotation off. We're going to get into the Mets-Braves things in a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's a disaster because how you handle your pitching staff. So, like, the Phillies have the luxury of sitting back, putting their feet up, and doing the throwing programs they want to do and making sure their guys are at peak physical or as good as you can be this time of year heading into Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, today being Thursday, you have a day off today, then you have your final series of the regular season against the Nationals, and you're going Rangers, Zach Nola, and with that, you also have the ability to plan for Saturday, October 5th is game 1. So from today, Thursday, September 26th, happy birthday to my brother Mark, by the way. From today all the way through to Saturday, October 5th, you can have a nice plan of how you're going to roll out, what you're going to prepare.
And it's Eagles bye week. And it's very courteous.
We are so courteous, so mindful of you.
Give us that full weekend
so
and just
mindful.
Focus on them. Thank you, Eagles.
And it does just give you a chance to now focus on getting the little things in place and restoring the pieces of the puzzle that need to be back to what you want them to look like for the Phillies. And if you have anything that you're looking to restore, let's say you're looking for some hair restoration specifically, because the way you rock your hair, it's your identity. It's a lot of who you are. It's a lot of also even just your confidence. And your hair is a big part of you. And with Glatt Hair Restoration, they want to make sure to provide you with an overall experience that's going to make it stress-free, but also going to make it very beneficial for you to get your confidence to a point where you're feeling beautiful on the inside and out. And Glatt Hair Restoration has partnered with Morgenstern Center for Orbital and Facial Plastic Surgery. And as they've been welcomed into the practice, it also allows them to improve the overall opportunities and experiences to be able to leverage Dr. Glatt's high caliber brand equity and begin an exciting chapter for them where they can give you guys as customers all the support and all the specialized treatments that you need. So with Glatt Hair Restoration, they are now under the direction of renowned plastic surgeon, Dr. Ken Morgenstern. And with that, they're going to now be able to provide you, as they're part of the Morgenstern Center, with some incredible prevention and restoration treatments. They've got laser light therapy, non-invasive TED treatments, vitamin supplementation, topical and oral medications, as well as PRP and stem cell restoration and hair restoration surgery. They're going to work with you, regardless of what stage of hair loss you're at, to figure out which of those leading edge treatments works best for you. They want to prevent, they want to restore, and they want to make sure they're finding what makes sense for you by giving you a chance to have the incredible service and support from the beginning all the way through the process. So with their team, they've got a team full of exceptionally trained, talented, knowledgeable members that have 30 plus years of industry experience. Dr. Morgenstern himself is a very highly respected plastic surgeon, and they want to make sure that they're bringing those decades of proven results to you. So every patient gets a complimentary one-on-one consultation where they're going to be able to pinpoint and figure out the best course of action, the best course of treatment. From there, their caring patient advocates are going to work with you closely to make sure from the first phone call all the way through to the last follow-up visit that they're helping to understand your experiences, understanding what's going on, and make sure that this emotional, stressful time doesn't have to feel that way. They're going to get you back to experiencing a simple, stress-free process by helping to restore things. So Glatt Hair isn't just about restoration, it's about innovation as well. And they want to make sure with their breakthrough treatments, they're changing your hair and they're changing your life. Bald is now optional. So if you want to improve how you look and how you feel about yourself, Glatt Hair has the right treatment for you. You can regain your confidence and visit glatthairmctr.com or give them a call at 610-980-4000 to get started with our friends over at Glatt Hair Restoration.
And I got big plans tonight. I'm going to a concert, one of my favorite bands, and my wife already said, hey, it's kind of your night. I'll drive. You know what that means? I get to have some extra drinks this evening. And of course, I'm going to start my night at home by doing the right thing and taking my Zbiotics before I go out, before I drink, because I don't bounce back the same way I used to in my younger days. I got to be proactive and taking care of myself. And it starts with the Zbiotics pre-alcohol prebiotic drink. It's the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by these PhD scientists who were, probably pretty smart guys and ladies. And they're coming up with ideas to how to make you feel better and bounce back the next day after going out and having 2-3 wines, And here's how it works. When you drink, the alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in your gut. And it's actually that byproduct, not dehydration, that leads to you feeling like you do the next day. Sluggish, tired, you don't get a good night's sleep. So pre-alcohol produces an enzyme to break this byproduct down. So just remember, make Zbiotics your first drink of the night. Drink responsibly and you'll feel your best tomorrow. I kept hearing about the pre-alcohol and wondered what it was actually like. Now that I've tried it, I'm having one tonight, and it's my 10-year anniversary tomorrow. I'll probably have one tomorrow night as well. I believe the hype, and you can, with their GMO technology, they will release different products that help address toxic byproducts of modern living in the gut. So go to zbiotics.com/PHLY Phillies to learn more, and you can get 15% off your first order when you use that code PHLY Phillies at checkout. Zbiotics is backed by a 100% money-back guarantee. If you're unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked.
All right. I know in the chat we've got a lot of comments coming in. Thanks. I had to bring out the Phillies gear today. Yes, bald is beautiful. There's nothing against being bald. And a very important question for you, Jamie, from John Peace. Which concert are you going to?
I am going to My Morning Jacket and Nathaniel Rateliff. It's kind of like a dual headliner concert, and they alternate who opens, who closes. So it's a win-win. My Morning Jacket, to me, is like the best band going, live band to see. And my wife loves Nathaniel Rateliff. I also like him, too. So we each get like one concert, and we both like the other. Okay. So we each get one that we love and then one that we really like, too. Wow. So it's kind of like a win-win.
What a great way to bring in 10 years of marriage.
And of course, it hasn't rained in like 3 months. And
it's not supposed to rain today.
Yeah, it's supposed to die off. It's supposed to be a little.
It's supposed to be like a little drizzle in a couple hours. But we splurged for some good
seats on the Game Time app. We splurged for some good seats under the cover. So even if it does rain, we're covered.
Yeah, there you go.
But I can't wait. I love this band, so I'm in a great mood today. I'm gonna go out for a beer after work. Take my Zbiotics. You got my wife driving tonight.
Guys, Jamie's celebrating his 10-year anniversary.
Yeah, we're together 19.
Exciting times. Been together for 19 years. We've
almost been together as long at the age where I met her.
Oh yeah.
She was 21 when I met her.
Wow.
We've been together 19. Wild.
Wow. Time flies when you're having fun.
Crazy.
That is wild. Well, as we were talking
about... Happy early 10-year anniversary, Eddie.
Yeah, I'm excited for you.
Yeah.
As we were talking through the excitement of all that this week is bringing, of course, here on PHLY Phillies podcast presented by Bet365, as you're celebrating a special moment, we're also celebrating special moments for the Phillies because, yes,
a World Series ring would be a nice little cap.
It'd be a great cap when you have the best single season wins record set, tied for that set in 2010 with the 54 wins at home, when you had the second best winning percentage in club history by any team for the Phillies since 1900. And the first and the top of that list is 1977. They had a .741 winning percentage. And you win the NL East, you get the first round bye, all these exciting things. Yes, the World Series is definitely something that we need. Icing on the cake. So with that being said, though, with every great game, with every great moment, there's always, unfortunately, somebody that's going to struggle for the Phillies. That's just the reality. You're not going to get a game where everybody's perfect. Somebody's going to have an off day. Somebody's going to struggle a little bit. Last night, it was, unfortunately, Christopher Sanchez. And just really quickly for him to have opened up the first 3 innings of the game, I was like, oh, wait a minute. Christopher Sanchez is giving me, and he still does give me all the validation that if he were to be moved to that number 2 spot and they were going to play the home away split, I wouldn't bat an eye about it. I'd be fine with it. But then we had the Bryson Stott error where he booted the ball off his foot and stumbled over it. And then Nico Hoerner gets a 3-run home run.
Noted power hitter.
Makes it a 1-run game. Yeah. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, crap, what's happening here? But fortunately, Brandon Marsh answered right back with a 3-run double of his own, and everything was fine. For Sanchez, he was 1 out shy of qualifying for Wednesday for qualifying for the win. He did finish the season overall with an 11-9 record, a 3.32 ERA across 181 and 2/3 innings. And he's someone that is actually, they were saying as he could be as high as like 5th place in Cy Young voting. So for Sanchez to, at home in his 17 starts, have a 2.21 ERA with a 7-3 record. Yes, there's been a discussion of what should the plan be for the NLDS? Do you have him start second? Do you have him start third? Do you play the home and away split? And for Rob Thompson, he was mentioning it's more about the opponent versus home and road splits. You know, obviously there is some conversation about the home and road stuff he was mentioning, but he said it is more about the opponent, who they're facing, the matchup for their opponent, more importantly than just where they're playing. So yesterday with 4 2/3 innings to give up 5 hits, 4 runs, 3 of those were earned runs. Not something that you're going to be worried about because overall Christopher Sanchez has had a phenomenal season.
Yeah,
and we won't see him again until the NLDS.
I think Taryn did her Rob Thompson superlatives during the game last night, where she asked him a bunch of questions prior to the game. You know, who most impressed, who maybe was the best travel buddy, who's the best locker room guy, you know, all those types of things. And he said Christopher Sanchez was he was most impressed this season with Christopher Sanchez. Hard not to be. You know, the home and road splits are what they are. It's only 13 games on the road. I think it was 16 at home. It is what it is. You know, there's nothing you can really do about that. But his season from start to finish was exceptional. And now to have him locked up, feeling good as a stable piece of that middle of your rotation going forward at the numbers that he's getting paid, it's a huge benefit for the Phillies going forward. Christopher Sanchez, absolutely one of the darlings of the year.
Yeah, and to your point, so on the road, and I know in the chat you guys were mentioning like how different his splits are. We know on the road he's had 14 starts, 4 and 6 on the road with a 5.02 ERA and 1.66 whip versus at home in his now 17 starts. Again, 7-3 in those 17 starts with a 2.21 ERA for Sanchi. So yes, it's a major difference. It is 3 starts plus 3, I guess you can say, in terms of home starts versus away starts. And he has been better at home. But he also just has been better this season as a whole. And yesterday, that was just his 11th home run that he gave up all season. He's been solid. Yeah. He's someone that even when Nico Horner hit that 3-run homer, I was like, if Rob decided to leave him out there, if he needed to, I would have been fine with it. Like, I have faith in Christopher Sanchez, and I think he's showing this is not a blip. He's made a lot of adjustments to his pitches. He's pitching with way more confidence. We've talked about it time and time again of him at a point now where he doesn't really have to overthink the mechanics of his pitch. He's able to just go out and trust his stuff. And it shows because he's doing a really good job of consistently battling, consistently being a guy you can rely on, and has been one of the top two.
How many times this year has Christopher Sanchez not kept you in a game?
Exactly.
Maybe twice over the course of a whole season. I mean, maybe the NRD can look that up. But yeah, like he really has been something obviously great for this year, but like you know, he seems beloved in there. Yeah. Seems like a great middle of the rotation guy going forward.
So let me ask you guys a question. What do you consider to be, quote, keeping you in the game?
Less than 5?
Doing live renovations on the show.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is a good discussion. What do you guys think? I would say less than 6, definitely, but probably less than 5.
4 or less is usually
5 runs.
5 runs, yeah. I would say anything less than 5.
Well, I think it also is based on how the offense has been. I would say 4 or less.
Which
runs.
is also fair, but I agree with you, Renee. I think I'm a 4 or less runs type of guy.
I could go 5.
Earned runs allowed this year. In the 31 starts now that Christopher Sanchez has made, he has given up 4 earned runs or less in 28 of them. He gave up 7 twice and 6 once. So he gave up 7 in that 4th of July game to the Cubs. He gave up 7 to the Diamondbacks in August, and then July 31st, he gave up 6 to the Yankees. Other than that, he has given up 4 earned runs or less in every start he's made this year.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy impressive. Christopher Sanchez.
It's 2 earned runs or less in 20 of his 31 starts.
Damn.
Yeah, that's the number I saw.
Crazy.
I did see that number, and I think it was his last start they were talking about it. he has
20 of 31.
So we talk about like Zach Wheeler has given up.
Starts.
That's dirty work.
Zach Wheeler has given up 1 or less in a lot of his starts. Christopher's given up 2 or less in a lot of his starts. Like, it's remarkable how well he's been pitching. And this season, as we talk about the ability to go deeper into games, he has pitched 181 and 2/3 innings compared to like Aaron Nola, who's pitched 194 and a third innings. Like, he's up there in terms of innings with your, Zach, Aaron, and he's someone we've been able to see. I mean, I'm curious to know actually, and Tyler, you could probably pull it quicker than I can, how many games he's been able to go. Well, 7+ was the streak for the undefeated streak until that was snapped.
Yeah, until Aaron Nola and Zach Wheeler's last start.
Christopher Sanchez has gone 7 or more innings 8 times this year.
Okay.
If you extend it to 6 innings, he's gone 6 or more innings 17 times.
Okay, makes sense then. That's impressive. That's like over half of his starts that he's been able to go at least 6 innings.
Well, and that's kind of the question of like how long is his allowance in the playoffs? If he gives you 5 really strong innings, that's a really successful start. If he gets 6, that's really, really good. I don't think they're going to push him much further than that. I'm not sure they allow him to go a third time through the lineup against the playoff caliber team. But to get 5 or 6 really good innings out of him and to turn things over to the bullpen would be, I think, would be a significant win for this team.
Yeah, and that's the conversation now of what are the expectations for the starting pitchers come playoff time. Zach Wheeler is one you can expect to be able to consistently get you 6-7 strong innings. I think it's, of course, situational. If a guy is getting knocked around and hit around early, you're not going to go further in the game. But I think the expectation is someone like Christopher Sanchez and Aaron Nola are probably around that same mark of get us 6 innings. Ranger is still up in the air. We'll still have to see of what that number looks like for him after his final start against the Nationals.
Yeah, you really want to feel good about Ranger heading into this. You really want to see a strong performance tomorrow night. He's a huge part of their playoff success. Whether you're starting him, throwing him in the bullpen, like the dude is. Jim Salisbury said it with us on Tuesday. He's kind of got like ice in his veins a little bit. Like nothing seems to really phase him on the mound. So he's a huge thing, and I'll be a little bit on edge tomorrow night. Checking Ranger from the dinner table. Like, how's my boy looking? Let me get on MLB Savant real quick and check out where his velocity's at. So yeah, a little. Yeah, come on, Ranger. You can do it, buddy. One more.
It is
going to the
crazy
playoffs feeling good.
You have on the other side, as you guys are all mesmerized and shocked by the numbers that Tyler just read around Christopher Sanchez. You have one side of like a Christopher Sanchez who you feel so good about. You have another with Ranger Suarez where you feel a little bit on edge and nervous. But you know what, guys? There's a spot you can go where you don't have to feel on edge or nervous at all. And that's with Empire Today, because it can be stressful and nerve-wracking trying to figure out which flooring makes most sense for your house as you're trying to find the best carpets, the best hardwoods, the best linoleum, tiling. There are so many options to choose from, so many colors. Even within hardwoods, I always say like there's different size planks of the wood of whether you want like smaller or bigger hues, different colors. There's so many different options to choose from. The thickness of your carpets. If you want more of like a shag carpet or something that's a little bit thinner, that's easier to vacuum. So many things to choose from. And with Empire Today, they have all the support that you need with some phenomenal benefits. So they have the right products for your needs. They have quick and professional installation, as well as having a price match guarantee. And as you talk about the convenience of being able to sit on your phone and watch a game, you could also sit on your phone and see how that new carpet looks in your home. With their virtual floor designer, while you're sitting at home, you could be on your couch, in your kitchen, wherever in your house, snap a picture and see how that new floor looks in your home. So you don't have to worry about leaving to go to the store, because it can be overwhelming. You want to see, not only do I like how this sample looks, but how does this sample look as an entire floor? How does this sample look in my house? How does it match the furniture and the decor of my house? So as you're doing that project or looking for those renovations, Empire Today is the place to go to be able to get some great deals. And with Empire Today, in addition to that virtual floor designer, they also have great customer service for you. There are thousands of options to choose from for new flooring. And with Empire Today, their great professional staff is going to be able to help provide you with all the insight you need, advice, tips, point you in the right direction to help simplify the process so it doesn't feel as stressful. So in addition to having the virtual floor designer, the great customer service, they also have the price match guarantee as well, because they really pride themselves on the at-home service, helping their customers shop for floors and trying to take away all the nerves and the uncertainty of buying a new carpet, new floor, or whatever floor upgrades you're looking to do. So as you are looking to shop for your new floors, know that with Empire Today, they also have some great deals for you, including the fact that today you can schedule a free in-home estimate. That's right. Schedule a free in-home estimate today. And all listeners also get a chance to get $350 off as a discount when you use the code PHLY. Restrictions to apply, but check it all out at empiretoday.com/PHLY for details. Again, that's $350 off when you head over to empiretoday.com/PHLY.
Yeah, and let me tell you about some sunglasses that I got waiting for me down in my car. I love my Shady Rays, and you will too. If you head to Shady Rays and use code PHLY, you can get the discount that you need to get introduced to one of the best companies that you'll be brand loyal to for a long time, because Shady Rays is crazy. They give you the best protection and basically backup plan out there. They're an independent sunglass company, and they offer world-class products rated by 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Their shades are durable and crystal clear optics, making them the perfect choice for all your outdoor activities. I wear them golfing all the time. I can't golf without them now. And they will offer you replacement shades. If you lose or break your sunglasses, I have little kids. I've been a dumbass in the past and played in the ocean with them and lost shades. Well, if that happened with my Shady Rays, I could call them up, or it's 2024. Go to their website and say, hey, Shady Rays, I lost my sunglasses like a total dumbass in the ocean playing with my kids. Can you do anything for me? Yeah, they'll just hook me up with a new pair. They're nuts. I told you. It's absolutely wild. It's the best deal in sunglasses. You can find out why, too. So for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving you the best deal of the season. Head to shadyrays.com. Use that code PHLY for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people.
All right. Well, guys, it's exciting times with the win yesterday for the Phillies to close out their home schedule of the regular season. Of course, there's more home games to be played in the playoffs. We now get to shift our attention to the rest of the league, because there's some bonkers things going on around Major League Baseball right now. And it's hard to know where to begin, because in the NL alone, we're watching a lot of craziness, and we'll get into as much of it as we can in this next 20 minutes of the show. But we got to start with the debacle that is Mets Braves dealing with Hurricane Helene, and the hurricane has rolled in and caused some problems for everyone, especially for this series, because their games got postponed for yesterday and today. They actually postponed the series to now be a doubleheader on Monday. So they're going to have a doubleheader, back-to-back games. It's supposed to start like 1 o'clock, I think the start time was on Monday. And the hard part about all of this, now the Phillies don't have these problems because the Phillies have locked in a first round bye anyway, so they don't have to worry about the wild card round. But the wild card round is actually scheduled to start on Tuesday. And so with a doubleheader on Monday,
disaster,
with what was supposed to be a day off for teams that are in the wild card round, now the Mets and Braves not only have a game the day before, but potentially a doubleheader. And not to mention, based off of the playoff picture we know, they could be going in the first round. Like if it were to end today, the Mets are facing the Padres on the road. So that means you're going from your doubleheader. This is if it were to end today. The Braves wouldn't have to worry about anything because they'd be done. They'd be out. But if the playoffs started today, the Mets have to then play that doubleheader and then go on the road to face the Padres. It's, I don't know, just a quick flight across the country.
Yeah,
Time zone change, no big deal. So this is chaotic, but I feel like we're just kind of sitting back like, brouhaha. Sucks to suck, but it's wild.
I mean, there's two things here. One, this is absolutely a hilarious situation for a known hater of the Braves and the Mets. That's me. So I do see the hilarity in it. But if I was a fan of the Mets or the Braves, I would be cursing Rob Manfred up and down the East Coast to anybody with a set of ears or eyes that would read or hear what I had to say. Because for them, David O'Brien from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution pointed this out, and he's absolutely right. For them not to move the game up on Monday to the off day,
correct,
to alleviate the possibility of a doubleheader and just leave Monday as one makeup game, was a brutal, brutal mistake by Major League Baseball. I mean, these hurricanes are known 4 or 5 days in advance, their path and where they're going. This didn't take a rocket scientist to tell you should have moved the game up to Monday and gotten one in when you could. So, one, hilarious situation that affects my worst enemies. And then two, Major League Baseball is incompetent. So it's like, the angel and devil inside me. They screwed up, Major League Baseball. It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
But it's also hilarious. So, like, I can't be too mad at them as a fan of the Phillies. But if I was a Braves or Mets fan, I'd be irate. I'd be spitting all over this microphone with anger.
Oh, well, thank goodness
you don't spit when you get angry?
I mean, I spit when I talk regularly, so.
Exactly. So you get worked up.
That's when I get going and it's like.
Wind me up with the Rob Manfred freak out. I'll start spitting all over this studio.
Hurricane Helene is a Category 2 hurricane. It doesn't matter. A hurricane is a hurricane. And they did know about it. They've been tracking it for quite some time. All the meteorologists have been keeping an eye on it. All the weather watchers have been.
This is not breaking news.
So it's not at all. This is not a surprising thing that came rolling in for this series to have had as you mentioned, to me, the easy fix was you just play on Monday. They probably could have and should have done a doubleheader Monday or Tuesday just to be proactive because, I don't know, it's a hurricane. It's not like you're talking about a little drizzle of rain.
No, this wasn't a pocket rolling through that you thought you could get the game in. It was a hurricane.
Right. Like, it wasn't like yesterday, for example. Here in Philly, it did rain for a little while. They had the tarps down and everything. But that you knew was going to be a small sprinkle, a quick shower. This is not that. And for them to have been able to play Tuesday and have a day off Monday, they both easily could have played Monday. There's no excuse to not get this series in. And so now you have the possibility of like running into potentially, depending on if the series is needed or not, they're talking about like scrapping it all together or changing it on Monday. It's just unnecessary.
I don't see the Diamondbacks falling off the face of the earth here making this because, if it doesn't matter, then Rob Manfred's discretion will be used to play it, which is hilarious. Rob Manfred, nobody trusts your discretion. But the Diamondbacks would really have to like kind of fall out of this, which I don't really see happening with 3 games left.
Yeah.
So
who their 3 games left are against, right?
Isn't it the Padres?
San Diego.
Yeah.
Yes.
San Diego, well, it depends. So if San Diego wins tonight, they're still technically alive for the NL West. If the Dodgers win tonight, they clinch the NL West.
Exactly.
So the Padres have a lot to play for. If the Padres win tonight, then, I mean, it's still hard to sweep a divisional opponent. It's going to be really interesting. Say what you want about the third wild card. It makes for a really fun final week of baseball. Especially when Rob Manfred screws up a doubleheader on the final day on top of it all. That's just like the cherry on the sundae. This is good stuff.
Well, what makes it all even better is the Phillies don't have to worry about any of these things, which makes it even more enjoyable because we can just kind of sit back and like, exactly.
Oh, we got a game next Saturday, you say? Oh, that gives me a whole week of just watching and putting my feet up.
Stretch out the dogs, sit back and watch the chaos, eat on our popcorn.
I'm not going to show the toes, though. You got to pay for those on only feet.
All right, Jamie. Well, yes, the Padres do have the Diamondbacks next. It's the Diamondbacks, the Padres, the Mets, the Braves, the Dodgers, until the Dodgers get that final win to lock in. It's just like everyone's scrambling to the finish line to see where they're going to be in the playoffs, if they're going to be in the playoffs if you're the Braves. Because, yes, at this point, the table has not changed in the sense that it would still be a Padres-Mets matchup for 4 and 5 and a Diamondbacks-Brewers matchup
Jay
for
Flo
3 and 6.
points out in the chat the Diamondbacks just have to win one, and they will be playing a doubleheader on Monday, which is great theater. And how do you handle that from a pitching staff element? Chris Sale was supposed to. Rich and I yesterday before the Eagles show were talking. We're like, well, even if they had tried to move the game up proactively yesterday to like 1 o'clock, and I think our buddy down in Atlanta said you probably could have gotten the game in the afternoon. There was like rains and all that. But if you move that game up to 1 through Chris Sale on Wednesday, and then the other game was Monday, the deciding playoff game, you could have thrown Chris Sale 2 times in a 3-game series. That would have been pretty hilarious too. So it's going to be great theater on Monday. How do you handle the rotation?
Right.
Because then you're going to have to play the next day. So like, you don't want Chris Sale throwing on Monday.
But you don't know if you're playing the next day.
Well, yeah, that's
the hard part is it's not even a situation. If you're the Braves, you have to go in. This is your season on the line.
But you can't let a guy go too long, and then you have to use your bullpen, but you don't want to tax your bullpen.
You want to put out your best starting pitching, of course, to try to lock
So is
in.
Sale going to throw? Tyler, have you look like you have something to say.
The thing
is he
if-
pitching now tomorrow?
So I'll take a look at their rotation. But the thing is, guys, like if those games matter, those games on Monday matter,
You have to pitch.
You have to pitch
you have
it.
to play as if this is Game
Yes.
7 of the playoffs.
But there's also probably a pitch count element of that because if you get into
I'm not sure there is because if you don't
if you
win,
get into a
if
3-game
you
wild
don't
card,
win,
you need Chris Sale.
yeah,
to
but
pitch.
if you don't win that game, you're going golfing.
I know.
Right, you don't have to worry about the 3-game wild card.
But
you need to like
it's
Tyler's
a manager's
saying,
worst nightmare.
You're
basically.
playing this as if it's Game 7 because you have to
But my
get
point is,
into the wild card.
if
You
he
have
gets
to
through
worry about it.
6, and you have a bullpen you trust, you have to lean on your bullpen.
Do
there.
they have a bullpen
You
they
don't
trust?
want Chris Sale going out. I mean, their closer's pretty good. You don't want to have Chris Sale go 7 or 8 innings and then completely removed from a wild card series. Yeah, they don't have a bullpen like we do.
No, they don't.
I hear all these.
Like their only option is Chris Sale that they have to really lean on right now because of the amount of injuries that they've had.
That is Brian Snicker's going
And
to be
you need
in
him
hell.
to pitch like every day.
Yeah, Tyler, what do you got there? Is their rotation out for these next 3
Nah, they're
days?
TBD for everything. But
Yeah, so
but
Chris
guys,
Sale was supposed to pitch Wednesday, so I
the
would
Braves-
imagine he pitches
the Braves
Friday?
bullpen, by the way, is really, really good. It's a 3.3 team ERA
That's what I'm
across
saying. You got
baseball.
to rely on the
I legitimately
bullpen. You don't
didn't
want your
know.
starter going too deep. You got to go.
So
I might have a 5 or 6 inning cap.
So
on.
here's their usage rate. Obviously, it's not going to matter because they're going to have some days off. But
no.
Joe Jimenez is the only one who pitched
there he is.
There he
on
is. It's
Tuesday.
okay,
Obviously,
Jamie.
they didn't play yesterday. Jimenez threw 9. I'm sorry, Raisel Iglesias threw 5 pitches. So Iglesias in the last 5 days has thrown 48 pitches. Jimenez has thrown 36. Pierce Johnson's thrown 26. Bummer, Hernandez, and Lee have all been within 20 or less. So here's the thing, though. Those numbers don't matter in these next couple of games.
Sure.
Because, again, if you don't beat the Mets,
Right.
you're going to Cancun. You're going to, St. Lucia. Like, you're not going to San Diego. So you got to get to San Diego before you
Yeah, but
worry
I'm
about
saying,
who's
like,
pitching.
if Chris Sale gives you 5 solid, you got to think about leaning on your bullpen there.
I
It depends on
disagree.
the game.
Because then you need Chris Sale in game 2 or 3 of the wild card.
You need to get to a game 2 or 3.
Well, then you got to trust your bullpen. You can't go into a wild card series without your best pitcher.
No,
You
but
just
see,
can't.
but here, let me ask you this question: if the Phillies were in this spot, do you trust Zach Wheeler after 70 pitches, or do you turn it over to the bullpen? I think you let Zach Wheeler go, right? Chris Sale's the same thing.
No, I want Zach Wheeler pitching in the wild card series. I want him starting game 3.
But
I have a great bullpen. I use it.
You can't believe in the fact that you're going to be getting to another Zach Wheeler start. You have to
think
play
it
this like the
depends.
pretense he's not pitching again.
I also
And then you
of
get
course,
into a wild card
naturally-
series and don't have maybe your horse.
Of course, naturally depends on
Right,
where the
that's the
game
whole
is
point
at
of-
the time.
And
Well,
again,
that's why it sucks.
Yeah, it
because
depends
normally
on,
if it ends
like-
on Sunday, you at least have a buffer day.
Right.
You know, maybe if the game's at night, you almost get like 36 hours.
Yeah.
there's a way to get around this, and it's win more regular season games. That's,
Well, yeah,
that's
it's
the
not our
easy
problem.
part.
That's a poverty issue for the Braves
But
and
my
Mets.
point is, like, you have to rely upon your the
I think it's
next
a fascinating
the
discussion.
next 3 outs are the most important outs.
I know. And you have to rely on your bullpen, but you want to have your best pitcher, the ball in the hands
But
of
if
your
you're
best
up
pitcher.
2 or 3 runs, you
That's
have
the
to
other-
think about saving them.
But the hard part is we know
you
how
pay
fast it
bullpen
can
guys
swing.
too. You know what
I know.
mean?
I know.
It's
That's
a-
the thing. It all depends on the game, the score, the situation, the pitch count, how he's pitching. It's Chris Sale, so I'm sure he'll be pitching great.
Seth F says I'm wrong.
I think personally,
I mean, you have to think
you
about the wild
win-
card. If
I
you're
think you
leading
first-
after 5 or 6, you have to consider
I think
the
you
wild
first
card.
lock in on winning that game, and then that's a problem for the next day.
I agree with you, Renee.
I hate to say it because you need Chris Sale to start, but you need to get there. So I think you need to do everything you can to win that game, and then figure out for the wild card.
They have a good bullpen.
I know, but it's Chris Sale.
We'll see what happens on Monday. It's gonna this
Dun
is
dun dun.
you know, you can tell me I'm wrong all you want, but if you have a lead in the 5th or 6th inning and he's at 80, 85
I think
pitches,
7 innings would be.
there has to be a point where you have confidence in your bullpen and say, we're going to win this with them, and Chris Sale can pitch game 3 of the wild card
But
series.
does 85 versus 95 really, is that a detriment?
If they're
to-
high intensity,
Of course they're- yeah, it's a
leverage
different
playoff
situation.
outs, yeah, I think that matters.
But he's still going to he's going to go through a start. He's going to go through his whole routine of a start, and there's going to be a recovery period. No matter if he throws 80 or 90 or 100, I'm not sure 15 pitches.
I think 110 and 80 is
110 and 80 is different, but 85 and 90, you used 85 as your number, right?
yeah,
80,
probably
85.
cap him at 85.
85 and 95 are not, I don't think 10 pitches are that detrimental.
I mean, Are you 36 yet? How old's Chris Sale?
He's probably 35, 36, something like that. I don't know the answer off the top of my head.
You know, you say that, but 10, 15 pitches could be, you know, you could feel that differently.
He's gonna be pitching on short rest regardless. Like whether it's 80 or 90 or 100 or 1,000, he's gonna be pitching on short rest. They're gonna need him.
I mean, if I have a good bullpen like the Braves do, like the Phillies do, I say, all right, Chris, you got us through 6, man. Thanks.
Yeah,
We're getting you ready for. And this is assuming you have the
7.
lead. You're not going to.
That's the other thing.
And like, it's a very interesting managerial decision.
This doubleheader just messes up a lot of things for the Braves and the Mets, and that's what it comes down to.
And that's the other thing. How do you manage your bullpen in game 1 versus game 2 versus the next
because
day?
The other thing is, for the wild card, we know you have to, of course, get
totally
to a game.
Up.
Yeah.
Rob Manfred
you have to get there.
The pooch.
You have to, you know, you're not going to be able to pitch Chris Sale back-to-back days. So then what? You know, like it's just there's so many factors here that this really is insane of what it does to the Mets and the Braves.
Well, that's why if you take away your fandom and you look at this objectively, this is a terrible.
It's terrible. Really bad.
Rob Manfred screwed up so
what's
bad.
Kind of annoying to me though, guys.
But it's hilarious.
Yeah, but no, it is, but it isn't because you know what? This pisses me off about. The Braves actually have a chance.
Built-in excuses for
them?
It's
a built-in excuse for both teams. I don't like that because the Braves and the Mets are two whining teams that have been complaining, especially the Braves, about like, oh, the first round bye messes up. And this actually just gives the Braves another thing to complain about this season. We had all these injuries,
well, they're always gonna have
and we still almost made it to the playoffs, but you guys messed us up in the hurricane and blah, 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 blah. And it's just annoying.
They'll always find an excuse.
Yeah, but just we don't need to give them extra excuses.
Good job, Rob Manfred.
Annoying. But what's also kind of annoying is what's going on around on the West Coast because there's a lot of dirty situations going on the West Coast.
I see what you did
there. You see I did that right? Starting with the fact that in the Coliseum, you have people that are stealing the chairs. People are actually attempting to walk. My question is, though,
I support their thievery.
How do you know? Because what's the exit strategy? You just walk out with
put it over your head and run. I mean, that's awesome. If you steal a seat from
we got
there's a guy on Twitter that took 2 seats out of the Coliseum and just casually starts walking out.
Yeah,
like you're just walking out the gate with 2 seats.
I love it. Good for that guy.
The Coliseum's not getting knocked down.
Can I get a description of the perpetrator? He's carrying Oakland A's seats out. I don't know what else to tell you.
You probably had to get tools in, right?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Yeah, clearly brought in some tools.
So 1, kudos for freeing the seats, and 2, if you get it out of the stadium, it's yours.
How did you get a screwdriver in?
Yeah,
I feel like
how did you get a wrench in here? Is that a plumber's wrench? How did you get that in here?
Spend the entire game like unscrewing the chairs. It's just wild to me that people even think of that. Yeah. The Coliseum's not getting knocked down, guys. They're going to be doing renovations, and another investor group brought it out.
It's the original seats. They probably
I don't know. They bring enough tools in, it might get knocked down by the end.
So not only are people taking the seats, but they're also the dirt. That part actually makes sense to me. But I mean, actually, no.
The ground workers last night were scooping up with the big shovels, and fans were walking down, and they were pouring the dirt.
The thing about that is like
water bottles, which is pretty cool.
But so if I had to choose one to walk away with, I'm obviously going to prefer the seats because that's way more obvious and meaningful of like, this is the original seat versus this is just some dirt.
Well, getting the dirt isn't illegal.
No, and that's easier to leave with. So I personally I'd rather leave with the chairs, but I know I'm a coward, so I'd go for the dirt. I think you're going for the chairs. You're probably going for both.
No. Me respecting their thievery and me actually myself doing it are 2 different things. I would not be.
You would not steal a chair?
But I would respect the hell out of anybody I saw stealing.
Okay.
Although I did see somebody the other day, and I'm curious your guys' thoughts. They said, I don't ever support running on the field, but what are they going to do? Ban you from the Coliseum?
Oh,
God. Get out there and have your moment.
Actually, not a bad idea. That's a great time to run on the field. We're not saying, it's over now, so it's too late. So, yeah, the dirt gate is happening. Because also there's some dirt being sold that Shohei Otani stood on. So the Dodgers, and I should have dropped this in so you guys can see it, but the Dodgers actually are selling, and I don't know if it's the Dodgers or Major League Baseball technically, so let me not say somebody is selling official dirt that Shohei Otani stood on. And it's different prices. It's a cute little packaging of which game it's from. It's from when he's up to bat. They took the dirt that he stood on, And they're actually selling it for various prices. $99, $149.
What does $149 dirt get more stood on by Shohei than
Well,
the $99?
it's bigger moments. It's all from moments of Shohei Ohtani's season. It's to commemorate. It's to commemorate a moment from the season. So it actually is saying, take home a piece of Dodger Stadium, the ground Ohtani stood on for his at-bat here in his momentous 2024 season. And you get to choose which game you want to choose dirt from. Whether you prefer the $99 dirt from the home opener from opening day, whether you prefer the $149 dirt. I don't even know what that one's from.
Who cares?
But it's all
It's the
from
same
major
dirt?
moments. No, it's not, Jamie.
But it's the same.
A lot
dirt.
changed with that dirt. It's different dirt.
Nothing changed. This is a scam, and nobody should buy this.
So they actually took the dirt that Ohtani stood on, and they are packaging it and selling it as collector's items.
Cool.
Like, what are we doing here? What's next? You're going to sell bottles of his sweat?
Yeah, I mean, well, here's a bottle of the air that he breathed. Are they going to start like capturing his breaths and like, like a bug catcher?
Vacuuming
It's like
the air when he's at bat. You're like,
here's a part of the bench where Shohei farted. The whole team laughed. It was hilarious. You can be an owner of the Shohei fart bench for $350. Like, what are we doing? Come on.
The dirt is wild. The dirt is wild. We gotta draw a line somewhere, guys. I know this is exciting.
It's all dirt. It's just
historic,
dirt.
but we gotta draw a line.
And they could be lying to you. Authenticated my ass. His right cleat touched this dirt. His left cleat when he was swiping. Like, what the hell are we doing here? That is embarrassing. We have to sell our dirt. We're only, so rich. We're billionaires. Let's profit on some dirt. Don't support them. Don't buy this crap. It's terrible.
It's bad.
Those are my final thoughts.
If I go to Home Depot and just buy bags of dirt and just start putting
you need an
labels
authentication piece of paper.
Yeah, this is where Ryan Howard stood, and sell it for $1,000 and see what happens.
It's
Lenny Dykstra spit a loogie on this piece of AstroTurf. It could be yours. Wow, cool. What the hell are we doing? I'm all for memorabilia. I love memorabilia, but like
gotta draw
dirt that
somewhere.
may or may not have been stood on. Like, come on, get the hell out of here.
It's too much. It's way too much.
I have a piece of the Spectrum court at home.
I was gonna say the court
like,
actually
that
makes
stuff's
sense.
cool. I have a piece of Veteran Stadium turf in my garage.
Wow,
like that's kind of cool. But like
that's
dirt.
cool.
We're now like, come on, authenticating dirt somebody stood on. Like,
it
give
actually
me a
has
break.
it actually has
Baseball's awesome.
the official
jerseys, game worn hats, all that stuff.
It's got
sunglasses. The Phillies are doing like a really cool, fan appreciation like raffle, and they're giving away a bunch of stuff. That stuff's awesome. Dirt.
Wait a minute.
What are we gonna do? Grass blades next?
You can buy it.
You can buy the grass clippings.
No, it's getting worse. Actually, I should have did a deeper dive. So it is on the MLB shop. You can buy it online. Oh my gosh.
How much?
It's way worse online. Look at this picture of it in like a box. It's in a packaged box and everything with like it in a baseball. We don't have time.
That, the 50-50?
So that one right now for the 50-50 Club Crystal baseball with game used dirt. That one's only $100, guys.
Oh wow, it's a real bargain. It's
officially licensed gear of it's Fanatics, of course, authentic 50-50 Club Crystal. So if you go on MLB.com, MLBshop.com, you can actually shop for Shohei Ohtani's dirt.
Yeah. Well, the real thing that's getting auctioned off from Shohei Ohtani is we're about to get out of here. The opening bid for his 50-50 home run ball. Golden, which is the auction house that does a lot of these high-priced items. So the Dodgers offered the guy that caught the ball $300,000 on the spot. They have not confirmed these reports, but those are the reports that they were offered $300,000. He immediately said no and took it to Golden the next day. They flew a security guard down to be with him, get the ball, authenticate it, and it's going to auction. So here's what the ESPN story says. Someone will have a chance to buy the baseball outright for $4.5 million exclusively between September 27th, tomorrow, and October 9th. If the bidding reaches $3 million prior to October 9th, however, the option to purchase privately will no longer be available, and interested parties must compete and bid for the baseball. Imagine catching a baseball that could go for $4.5 million. Wow. That person is winning life.
Well, I thought it was bad that on the MLB shop, you can also buy, there's a whole package from the 50-50 day. It's a club framed collage, a record collage. It's dirt, game used dirt from Shohei Ohtani's 50-50 game, and a baseball. That's $300 on MLBshop.com. But it's, of course, not the official. It's not the ball. It's just one of the balls, apparently, from the game.
Stupid.
But they have a limited edition of 500 of those. So apparently there were 500 balls used in that game that they have ready to sell. So
they were just like, yeah.
Yep.
Here's a new ball. Here's a new, every pitch, new ball. Here you go. Here you go. Use it.
Just a limited edition of 500.
Yeah.
So that is insane. But we have excitement going on around the league as we are wrapping up. And most importantly, we do get starting this weekend. I know we'll have tomorrow. Tyler and I will be doing a post-game show as Jamie is celebrating his anniversary.
Lucky lady.
Yes. Lucky man you are. And so we get the starts of tomorrow, Ranger Suarez, then Zach Wheeler, then Aaron Nola. We'll be recapping all the excitement from game 1 tomorrow of Ranger Suarez against TBD for the Nationals as Rangers comes out with that 3.15 ERA. Shout out to our friends over at Chicago with the White Sox for getting back-to-back wins.
Yeah, they got the magic now. The White Sox are on fire.
Oh, man, on a roll. They could possibly sweep the Angels. But they'll still be in the franchise worst in terms of losses. And then we do have, if the Royals and the Tigers do get a chance to win today, Seattle Mariners can also be eliminated.
You got fired on your off day. That sucks for the Mariners.
Yeah, you're not even playing and you can get eliminated. So lots of clinching scenarios that are still happening. The Dodgers can clinch the NL West with a win over the Padres. The Seattle Mariners could be eliminated. A lot going on, but we'll be back tomorrow to recap it all. Post-game show coming your way for the series opener of our final series of the regular season as Ranger Suarez takes them out to kick things off versus the Nationals. So for Tyler Zulli, Jamie Lynch, myself, Renee Washington, thank you guys so much for tuning in to another edition of PHLY Phillies presented by Bet365. Next time we're on the show, we'll be into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Well, as a trio, because Tyler and I.
Yes.
Yes. The next time the three of us are on together,
we will have 5 days of no game baseball.
5 days of no game. So lots of fun for you next week. See you guys tomorrow for a post-game show. Have a great rest of your day. And thanks again for tuning in. Bye-bye.
We all silly like the mayor.